Eu só queria falar de várias coisas, mas incluidamente eu queria falar agora só uma coisa. Estão aqui a dizer que eu estou a roubar. Quando eu não recebo dinheiro nenhum pelos vídeos que eu faço, e a única maneira que eu faço estes reuploads ou mirrors é porque, por exemplo, vamos imaginar este vídeo aqui. São coisas importantes que nós estamos a falar, são coisas que toda a gente devia saber. Deixa eu ver se eu encontro. Tem muitas aves a ver. Isto também é um vídeo que temos que falar. Este vídeo aqui é importante e eu quero que várias pessoas vejam. E eu tento partilhar. Eu não tenho Facebook nem Twitter, por isso eu não tenho maneira de partilhar a não ser aqui assim desta maneira. Porque eu não tenho Facebook, não tenho Twitter, fui banido. Por isso a única maneira que eu tenho de partilhar é assim. Mas parece assim quase ninguém vê. Eu posso estar aqui meia hora a fazer isto assim aqui. E a meter aqui nome. Aqui. E a fazer assim. Vou estar aqui todo dia. E eu nem recebo dinheiro por isto. Nem quero receber primeiro porque não mereço, né? Por fazer reuploads. E segundo que o objetivo não é esse. O objetivo é mostrar às pessoas esta situação. Eu posso meter aqui, salvar aqui em Cloud World. Porque não entrega. Ao que parece, ninguém que eu mando para aqui recebe. E eu não tenho Facebook, nem. Nem. Chegar aqui e meter. Aqui, algumas até são outras contas que eu tenho. Ninguém vê. Ninguém que faça assim esta distribuição vê. E eu acho importante. E peço desculpa se não acharem que a maioria das pessoas vejam. E a única maneira de pessoas que eu conheço a nível pessoal ou conheço de outra maneira qualquer, eu pessoalmente não conheço assim muita gente, a ser honesto. Tem que ser a primeira coisa, tem que ser dita. Eu mas eu tiro, se vocês acham coisa, eu tiro. Até porque já obtive o objetivo que era pelo menos 15 pessoas vissem este vídeo e vissem como isto é a true clown world. Onde é um bocadinho. Um bocadinho. Isto agora não tem creio. Um bocadinho. Quero ver a seguir, que parece interessante. A internet às vezes falha um bocado. Que é ridículo tendo em conta que pagamos imenso em casa, aqui em casa pela internet. Agora outra vez. Só quando eu pagar é que eu desisto de pagar. Não, eu apago o vídeo. Não consegui. Isto é que está. A primeira coisa que vou fazer é meter privado, que é sempre um bocadinho mais rápido que estar. Eu não queria roubar views a ninguém. Eu vou ver se arranjo mais views para aqui para o. Este gajo é muito fixe, o Avon. Hunter. Assim que se chama. Hunter Avon. Acho eu. E agora vou aqui, personalizar. Agora já deve ser mais fácil de apagar. Ok, agora. Não tinha nada de apagar. Sem ter que ir ao manager. Está aqui. 46. Foda. Então, olha, enquanto eu não consigo apagar o vídeo, afinal ver aqui.
Doesn't matter if you're a boy, girl, or somewhere in between. We all are part of one big family.
Imagine going to a TED Talk. You're ready to hear some new perspectives. You're excited to listen to someone new and exciting speak. And then, Avada Kedavra, Harry Potter pops out with a ukulele and fiddles you straight into a casket. I haven't talked about queer kid stuff for quite a while, so I was planning on doing a video where I caught up with Lindsay and the gang to see what kind of happy-go-lucky gay things they've been up to. To my honest surprise, I saw that Lindsay recently gave a TED Talk on why kids need to learn about gender and
Desculpa.
and sexuality. Help me. Now before we jump into this epic cringe, I want to first let you all know that my summer merch is finally available and I know you guys are going to love it. Check this out. I have an all new toucan shirt, new Honest Bear merch, limited edition Avalon shirts, a hilarious liberal tears mug, and so much more. So head over to grabmymerch.com and use the temporary promo code SUMMER to get free shipping on all items. Please help support my channel and bring your conservative views out of the closet. Now, I have explained my grievances towards this awful queer kid stuff show before, but I want to make myself clear. Once kids reach a certain age, it's perfectly fine for them to learn about gender and sexuality. Most sex ed classes are taught to kids around the age of 11, give or take. But my issue is that Lindsay, by her own admission, is creating a course for very, very young children to learn about gender, sexuality, and other things that are simply not appropriate for that
What's
age
on,
group.
everyone?
What you just heard is the theme song for my web series, Queer Kid Stuff, where I make LGBTQ+ and social justice videos for all ages. And when I say all ages, I mean literal babies to your great-great-grandma.
So although she tries to make it sound as if this course is created for all ages, I mean, the show is literally called Queer Kid Stuff. It's in the name, it's in your description, and your set is clearly aimed at very young kids. Plus, you admit that you want to teach literal babies about concepts that they are not nearly mature enough to even begin to understand. So not only is this inappropriate, it's unnecessary at best.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Whoa, they're talking about gay stuff with kids? But talking to kids about gay stuff is actually crucial. The American Academy of Pediatrics has found that children have a solid understanding of their gender identity by the age of 4.
Right off the bat,
Olha, a mesma coisa que diz que masculinidade é uma doença e diz que diz como e que durante anos diz como ser homossexual era uma escolha e no momento em que lhes deu interesse político, mudaram. E a mesma coisa que diz que não é uma doença, quer dizer, há algo que impede um ser vivo de se reproduzir, não é uma doença.
I knew I was going to enjoy this TED Talk because this is the first time Lindsay has ever attempted to substantiate her claims that babies should learn about gender and sexuality. I went ahead and found the source that she cited, and I don't think she's accurately representing this. American Academy of Pediatrics says that around age 2, children become aware of the physical differences between boys and girls. By 3, most kids can label themselves as either a boy or a girl, and by age 4, most children have a stable sense of their gender identity. This sounds a lot more like it's referring to children realizing societal standards for gender and applying it to their acknowledged sex rather than the progressive notion you take on your web series. It's unnecessary to try and teach literal babies about these complex issues when, according to your own source, cross-gender play is a normal part of gender development and exploration regardless of future gender identity. So just if Johnny will one day become Katrina, by the age of 4, his understanding of gender identity is affiliated with the fact that he's a boy based on physical attributes. This is also supported by previous government studies which found children exhibit gendered behavior before they reach an age where they can conceptualize gender. Even more so, your justification for trying to teach very young children about sexuality and gender is that by the age of 4, they have a solid understanding of their gender identity. This is a terrible approach, not only for the reasons I just mentioned, but also because hormones influencing sexual preferences do not fully manifest until well into puberty, years after the targeted age for queer kids stuff. Lastly, and most importantly, a 2013 study which followed up on 127 transgender kids found that 54% of the cases desisted, as in, they no longer identified as transgender. Keep in mind this occurred in the Netherlands, where medical services for transitions are free. The data clearly supports that the majority of kids cease to feel transgender as they get older. So Lindsay, your justification for confusing kids about gender and sexuality is not founded on fact or backed up by any data. Honestly, you should just let kids come to their own conclusions rather than attempting to indoctrinate them with feminist gender theory.
Now, most parents want their children to become kind, empathetic, self-confident adults, and exposure to diversity is an important part of that social and emotional development.
Of course,
Diversidade não é uma coisa inerentemente boa. Ao contrário, é inerentemente má.
parents want their kids to be kind and empathetic, but listen to this very specific wording she uses. She claims exposure to diversity is an important part of this. Now, I agree kids should be exposed to diversity, but this is an awful conflation. Lindsay is advocating for teaching children about drag, sex, feminism, and all the different genders. Why on earth are you conflating the acceptance of all people with in-depth explanations of topics children will have to sort out on their own years down the road? There are many other ways to teach children about diversity, ways that many kids could better understand and even utilize in other scenarios. Why not teach kids that people are different but equal and deserve to be treated with kindness and respect regardless of their differences? You certainly don't need to teach kids about feminist gender theory and conflate this with diversity.
Gender is about how we feel and how we express ourselves. Sexuality is about love and gender and family, not about sex.
It's completely within Lindsay's right to hold these opinions, but as we've seen from multiple different studies, gender is not just about how we feel. There is a biological basis that plays a role as well. Secondly, when it comes to sexuality, sure, it's about love, family, and sex. It's not either or. Even Lindsay's scripted speech reveals fundamental logical flaws within her arguments, again proving my point that Lindsay should not be teaching innocent, impressionable children about these topics.
In one of my earliest episodes about gender, I used the idea of pronouns to underscore the definition and introduce gender-neutral pronouns like they and them. I encourage children to think about their own pronouns and to ask others for theirs.
As we've already seen from child transgender regret rates, encouraging kids to talk about their own pronouns or whatever is kind of unnecessary and not supported by the data. Of course, as kids get older, sure, but you don't specify, so I'm going to assume you're referring to very young children. A very tiny percentage of the population refer to themselves with different pronouns, and our world doesn't operate within your feminist gender theory worldview. Not only is this gender pronoun issue something that kids can learn when they're older, kids begin recognizing and stereotyping gender groups when they're extremely young. This is evolutionary, and these pronouns and stereotypes exist for the sake of running an efficient society.
Let kids be kids. Well, that's a nice sentiment and all, but only if it actually includes all kids. Just a few weeks ago, a 15-year-old in Huntsville, Alabama, died by suicide after being bullied for being gay. In 2018, it was a 7-year-old.
Lindsay then goes on to tell some very sad stories.
Gays, não há gays com menos de 13 anos, fogo.
About young kids who committed suicide after being bullied for being gay. Now, of course, this is awful. No one is denying this. And anytime someone takes their own life after...
Eu tenho muitas dúvidas que tenha sido por causa disso. Eu tenho muitas dúvidas que tenha sido suicídio. E tenho muitas dúvidas que tenha sido por causa disso. Provavelmente foi mais por causa das hormonas que os pais deram, porque as hormonas provocam suicídio.
Severe bullying, it's a heartbreaking tragedy. But Lindsay's attempt to use these heartbreaking stories to justify...
Ela não provou que era por causa das hormonas ou era por causa do bullying. Não é? Pode ter sido por causa das hormonas.
The creation of her web series is moot. You, my friend, are honing in on a niche within a much broader problem. Bullying. Children are bullied at school all the time for multiple different reasons. I understand the reasoning behind queer kid stuff in your mind, but when you actually look at what you're saying, it doesn't hold up. Like I previously said, it would make far more sense to teach children to be accepting of everyone regardless of their differences. Even if everyone in the entire world was 100% accepting of gay people, people would still be bullied for other reasons. Black children are also committing suicide due to bullying. Teach kids that bullying is wrong and they should be kind to... What exactly are...
Muito mais comum é brancos serem bullying por serem brancos. Muito mais comum, nem sequer há dúvida. A taxa de suicídio dos brancos é enorme.
Jeremy here from the Quartering. Hope you're having a good Sunday or perhaps Monday or Tuesday when you might be watching this video. I've got a few things to cover today, but I thought this was easily the most important. The video games industry is full of all sorts of people. It is by default diverse, given just how large it even is. But now and again, certain opinions come out, and I feel like I need to address them. Yesterday, world famous grifter who, from what I can tell, stole about $90,000 for a video game that she never produced, a video game that I believe Jim Sterling did work on and has never publicly disavowed or removed himself from the situation. A person that has continued to collect Patreon money and not produce any content, not even updating her backers in many months. And we've got a full story on that coming up probably Monday or Tuesday. But there was a situation yesterday with a journalist out in Portland that we need to cover, because while it is probably a topic that would most likely fall on my Midwestly channel on Monday, which I will probably cover, get back to posting there, by the way. Because this crosses over into the video games industry, it's very important to me. Essentially what we have here is cyberbully Zoe Quinn going after a blogger or journalist's job because, you know, she's totally not a gatekeeper. If you notice, my energy levels are a little bit low today. It was a long night. I was going to take the day off, but I think this is important. And if you enjoyed the video, please remember to just leave a like on it, and if you can, drop a comment. It helps the video spread, and more importantly, I uploaded a video yesterday about Philip DeFranco's coverage of the Google situation, where he out and out lies to his fans and spreads false information. And if you haven't watched that yet, please watch it. And if you haven't shared it yet, please share it. And if you're a creator and you haven't commented on the situation, please do so. It's important to get the correct information out there when we can. So yesterday, Zoe Quinn talking about Andy, the journalist who happened to be out in Portland yesterday covering events, who was beaten and robbed, has, I believe, a brain hemorrhage from it. Wow, it's almost like the dude went there specifically to try and start stuff and cry foul like some poophead Scientologists stand in your way and try to sue you for assault if you bump into them. So what feminist and perpetual victim is saying here is he deserved it. Her skirt was too short.
For sure.
This is just another rewording of that exact argument, and I cannot believe that she isn't completely ratioed on this. Reminder, we have zero obligation to engage with pro-fash dip poops who are in bad faith arguments, try to dress up faux victimhood or broken logic with insincere politeness. I don't believe his assault at night in the hospital was a hoax, but she's implying it's a hoax. But of course, this whole situation has to be about serial grifter Zoe Quinn going on to say, man, the many people who loudly hate me and want me to die for being queer non-binary trash bag, yet somehow think they can trick me into shutting up by throwing disapproval in 6th grade debate. There's only 4 replies to this. Who is she even talking to? Essentially, she goes on to talk like a complete moron for a particular amount of time, in which then, if I'm following this timeline correctly, she then decides to pick on one particular person. His name is Craig, from what I understand. You see Andy here saying peaceful protest. By the way, these people were putting quick dry concrete, it's being reported, in milkshakes and hitting people with them. Essentially bricks, right? Super high IQ stuff. Then Craig, and you can see obviously she's trying to encourage this type of behavior, in my opinion. Is this the free speech you're out here getting your backpacks? She's a degenerate, in my opinion, all right? I would not recommend contacting her, obviously, because this is exactly what she wants. But I feel like it's important to cover and protect other employees, other people in this industry. Craig Snyder, of course, replies, "You're literally harassing somebody who suffered a brain bleed after they were beaten up by idiots and pulling up my retweets and my debate commentary." Because she brings up a single reply, "Oh no, he said words, quick, give him a brain bleed." To which she then tattled to this guy's employer. He mocked her for the hysterical way she was acting, calling it a hoax, and encouraging bad behavior against Andy. She lost her mind and began spam tweeting at Twinfinite. This is, by the way, directly from Craig. Spam tweeting at Twinfinite, a small site I write for, as a volunteer. Hey, Twinfinite, come get your writer. I mean, this woman, or whatever, I don't know what she goes by. I don't care. This person is out here trying to get people fired for disagreeing with her. By the way, Craig, you can come write for Exclusively Games anytime you want. Feel free to email writers at exclusivelygames.com. Sorry, man. If you work in my industry and you're out here all over your timeline defending actual fascism, I'm not going to ignore that. Right? Because mocking your bizarre support of what happened to Andy is supporting it. Not what I said, and not the only thing in your timeline, buddy. So retweeting Dave Rubin saying, "How do you say pandering in Spanish?" is apparently bad. It is wrong think. And Zoe Quinn is going to contact your boss and make sure you can't work anymore. That's what Zoe Quinn does. The perpetual victim, the person who wants your money, who wants the fame of being a relative nobody from 10 years ago, is still out here acting like the victim. You know who the real victim is, Zoe? You know, I want to show you the real victim. Here she spends all this time screenshotting tweets that he'd made. So what? Which I will say, it's obviously fine to screenshot and mock. Where you cross the line is where you start tattling to their employer. I mean, are you kidding me? I guess she doesn't have to worry about work because absolute freaking morons keep giving her money. You know, the same person who took an expensive trip to Japan, who tells everyone that she's broke. You know, somehow people keep giving her money. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of weird cuckoldry, or I'm not sure exactly what it is. If people feel guilty and then she tells people that she's a victim, so give her money. I don't understand that logic, but, you know, let's just take a look, Zoe. You know, since there's about, you know, maybe a couple thousand employers here that gave you $85,500 back in what I can tell was like 2016. Is that right? It's been many, many years. Let's go see what your community is saying. 11 days ago, will this ever be finished? The lack of movement makes me sad. It's almost time for our yearly "there's no update. Can't wait." Seriously, come on. At this point, a post saying "I have no update" would be better than nothing at all. I'd love an update. This is a super backer, by the way. Can I assume this isn't happening now? I mean, why not refund their money, Zoe? Isn't that the right thing to do? It's hilarious that people are still giving Zoe their unconditional support.
Já vamos voltar a ver este vídeo, mas primeiro deixa-me só mostrar aquele caso do miúdo. Grande site que eu recomendo que vocês verem, o gajo que fez este vídeo. E é como eu digo, eu só faço estes reuploads, ou mirrors, como vocês quiserem chamar, porque ninguém vê. Olha, por exemplo, este vídeo é importante. Olha, eu mando por e-mail a várias pessoas, eu faço o caraças.
Keep giving her money, I don't know what it is.
E eu já não vi. Mas eu estava a dizer, white children são muito mais bullying do que black children.
The mainstream media constantly tells us how hard life is for migrants and their descendants, how much they suffer, and how they are so often the victims of abuse, attacks, and prejudice. And when those of migrant descent are victimised, we are constantly reminded of those incidents and are bombarded with the names and images of these victims of racism until they are forever imprinted in our minds. Remember last year when a Syrian boy had a 500 milliliter bottle of water poured over him by another boy on a school playing field? There were protests, there were reporters camped outside the school, and the politicians and the media raised close to £160,000 for the boy and his family. Can you remember Stephen Lawrence? Stephen Lawrence was a black teenager who was stabbed to death in London. He died in 1993, yet the media are still reporting on his murder to this day. The spot where he died is marked with a plaque. His mother, Doreen Lawrence, was made a member of the House of Lords. Her new title is Baroness Lawrence of Clarendon. And last year, on April the 23rd, at a memorial service to mark the 25th anniversary of his death, the Prime Minister, Theresa May, announced that an annual national day of commemoration, titled Stephen Lawrence Day, would be held on the 22nd of April every year starting in 2019. But how many of you have heard the name Aaron Dugmore? Aaron Dugmore was just 9 years old when he committed suicide. He hanged himself at just 9 years of age. And why, may you ask? Why would a healthy 9-year-old boy kill himself? Well, I read this from the Daily Mail, and I quote, "A boy of 9 who was found hanged is believed to have killed himself after he was bullied for being white by an Asian gang at school." Aaron Dugmore, thought to be one of the youngest children in the UK to commit suicide, was discovered in his bedroom after being tormented for months, his parents said. They said Aaron was threatened with a plastic knife by one Asian pupil, who warned him, "Next time, it will be a real one." He was also allegedly told by another pupil that all the white people should be dead, and he was forced to hide from the bullies in the playground at lunchtime. Aaron's mother, Kelly Marie Dugmore, 30, and stepfather Paul Jones, 43, said that despite complaints to the school, nothing was done to stop the bullying. End quote. Oh, and it's worth noting that when the British press use the word Asian, they are usually referring to Muslims. But I am guessing you had never heard of Aaron Dugmore before. The little boy who was bullied until he committed suicide. The little boy who was bullied to death for being white. I wonder if Theresa May will be attending a memorial service for Aaron. I wonder if she will be announcing a national day of commemoration in his name. Who am I kidding? Of course she won't. I doubt she has even heard of him, and if she has, I very much doubt she would want to even comment on his death. Because Aaron Dugmore is a victim of multiculturalism. Aaron Dugmore was a little boy who was picked on and driven to suicide because of his race. But as he was white, that doesn't fit the narrative. To the media and the politicians, his death doesn't matter. And anyone that doubts this, anyone that doesn't think I'm telling the truth, please Google it. Type his name into Google and see how many results you get.
Pronto, já está excluído. E agora deixa-me ter. Peço desculpa se acharam coisas, eu precisava mostrar. Porque querem ver, por exemplo, se eu procurar este vídeo aqui do miúdo que se suicidou. Não sei se estou a procurar o nome dele. Stefan. Não, só aparece um gajo preto. Não, só aparece um gajo preto. Mas do miúdo. Não esquecer, nós somos 8% da população mundial, enquanto os pretos são imensos. Nós estamos literalmente em via de extinção comparado com os pretos. Mas eu estava a dizer, se eu procurar este vídeo, uma coisa. Claro que a mídia que é E claro, agora o YouTube é tudo... É. E os milhares de crianças com as crianças manchetas, claro, MTV, a ver a mídia. Agora nem consigo encontrar o vídeo. Por isso...
Get. Then do the same for Stephen Lawrence, and you will see the difference. But let's look more at the case of Aaron Dugmore, because this little boy deserves to be remembered. He deserves to have his story told. Aaron was attending a school in Birmingham, in England. Birmingham, for those who don't know, is a city where white British people are soon going to be a minority, if they aren't already. In fact, white people as a whole may even be a minority there soon. At the last census, which took place in 2011, white British people only made up...
Shocking video out of Washington State. It shows...
Disturbing. It's hard to imagine a fellow student didn't jump in to stop it. But what really outrages the boy's parents is that a teacher was there too, and they say he joined in.
When I drop my kids off, I'm dropping them
For the phone cameras.
This video has been brought to you by Squarespace.
Yes, that's right.
I got the ladder set.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Zoe, you know, I want to show you the real victim. Here she spends all this time. She goes by, I don't care. This person is out here trying to get people fired for disagreeing with her. By the way, Craig, you can come write for Exclusively Games anytime you want. Feel free to email writers at exclusivelygames.com. Sorry, man. If you work in my industry and you're out here all over your timeline defending actual fascism, I'm not going to ignore that. Right, because mocking your bizarre support of what happened to Andy is supporting it. Not what I said, and not the only thing in your timeline, buddy. So retweeting Dave Rubin saying, how do you say pandering in Spanish is apparently bad? It is wrong think. And Zoe Quinn is going to contact your boss and make sure you can't work anymore. That's what Zoe Quinn does. The perpetual victim, the person who wants your money, who wants the fame of being a relative nobody from 10 years ago, is still out here acting like the victim. You know who the real victim is, Zoe? You know, I want to show you the real victim. Here she spends all this time screenshotting tweets that he'd made. So what? Which I will say, it's obviously fine to screenshot and mock. Where you cross the line is where you start tattling to their employer. I mean, are you kidding me? I guess she doesn't have to worry about work because absolute freaking morons keep giving her money. You know, the same person who took an expensive trip to Japan, who tells everyone that she's broke. You know, somehow people keep giving her money. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of weird cuckoldry, or I'm not sure exactly what it is. If people feel guilty and then she tells people that she's a victim, so give her money. I don't understand that logic, but you know, let's just take a look, Zoe. You know, since there's about, you know, maybe a couple thousand employers here that gave you $85,500 back in what I can tell was like 2016. Is that right? It's been many, many years. Let's go see what your community is saying. 11 days ago, will this ever be finished? The lack of movement makes me sad. It's almost time for our yearly there's no update. Can't wait. Seriously, come on. At this point, a post saying I have no update would be better than nothing at all. I'd love an update. This is a super backer, by the way. Can I assume this isn't happening now? I mean, why not refund their money, Zoe? Isn't that the right thing to do?
Ou seja,
It's hilarious that people are still giving Zoe their unconditional support after she systematically showed. By the way, every one of these people has to be someone that gave this project money. Systematically shown that she deserves absolutely none of our trust. I think people who believe in GG are morons, but Zoe Quinn is a see you next Tuesday. She took our money and ran. If any Kickstarter had done this, comment section would be filled with people demanding refunds and threatening lawsuits. That's a very good point. But for whatever reason, she's a protected class. To me, I don't care what you identify as or what you do in the bedroom. It's irrelevant to me. What this looks like is you stole almost $90,000, and you haven't given any updates. The last update you gave, by the way, was August 30th, 2018. A year ago. A year ago. I can't see it because I'm not a backer. At the time I covered this, one of the backers had sent it to me. So, Zoe, I'm not sure, as somebody who is clearly broke, I'm not sure that I would be out here trying to get other people fired. I guess when you have literally nothing to lose, this is how you want to spend your time. I mean, this is so transparent in this. Gatekeepers are bad. Gatekeepers are bad, but I don't like your opinion, so you shouldn't work in our industry. You know what, Craig, you have my support. If you write good, I'm happy to give you a job at Exclusively Games. If you write bad, well, you still have my support. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please make sure you take a second to check out the Philly D video. It's very important. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
Aqui estou. Acho que sou eu. Deixa eu ver o que eu tenho. Continua, estava aqui à procura de um. Tentar ver se encontrava aqui um vídeo que acho que é importante. Eu acho, não tenho a certeza, que as pessoas não têm noção de quão mal. Agora já não tem a ver agora mais com os refugiados, os falsos refugiados e dos. E eu queria mostrar aqui um vídeo, mas eu não sei se vou conseguir mostrar. Vamos lá ver. Não. Ok. Agora, têm que ver este vídeo, porque a Google não quer que vocês vejam, por isso, vem. Outra vez. Não. Oh. Não sabem que se encontra. Já não vou conseguir encontrar. Ok, vamos encontrar. Mas aquela situação da OL é muito mau. E é por isso que o Louça é um estupor quando diz que há violência por parte de quem está a defender a OL. Defender. Os países têm o direito de defender as fronteiras. E. Este é o gajo do... Vamos fazer assim, eu vou dar mais um bocadinho. E se não encontrar... Deixa eu ver, acho que os gajos que fazem isso chamam Try. Tem uma série de vídeos chamada Try to... Acho que os gajos têm um vídeo chamado... Não consigo encontrar agora. Peço desculpa. Mas a situação da... Sabe uma coisa? No site onde eu comprei That we... Só que tenho aqui o vídeo. O vídeo não está como a situação está. Bueno, já é este.
That is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. One of the most dangerous cities on Earth. It's Juarez, Mexico. And this is the United States of America. That is what separates it. The wall, built by private money. We built the wall foundation over a 72-hour period in late May and early June.
Bay Area?
I am. I'm from San Francisco, California.
What's this? How's this heat? How are you hanging out with this heat?
I'm not handling it well, but I'm so happy to be here that it doesn't even matter.
What is...
E a esquerda tem muitos problemas com o Ban, mas ele é um gajo fixe e não falso, e acusam este gajo de ter falsificado coisas, ter espalhado notícias falsas, do que não é verdade. Que a esquerda que espalha, não é a direita.
One thing I think would be very important is to tell folks
só porque é normal que nós nacionalistas estejamos todos, ou que têm algum grau de nacionalismo, estejamos todos unidos, porque isto é uma coisa que está a acontecer a nível global. Ok?
What motivated you? How did you get this entire idea?
Well, the entire idea just evolved from Right here in the doctor say that because literally I'm about to bleed out and you get real.
Sim, ele ajudou o Trump, ele ajudou o Bolsonaro. Qual é o mal? Jorge Soros paga pessoas para manifestarem-se em manifestações que não são nada. Não é? Eu não sei qual é o mal de ele ajudar o Trump e ajudar o Bolsonaro e dizer que isto provoca corrupção ou qualquer coisa. Nós, os nacionalistas, temos de estar todos juntos contra esta invasão vindo do norte da África e do Médio Oriente. E eu queria mesmo procurar aquele vídeo porque há coisa interessante naquele vídeo. Assim, era um gajo que deve ser subscrito. Com certeza eu vou ter que ir à casa bem. Entretanto já encontrei o vídeo e acho que é um vídeo que é importante que vejamos juntos.
Hey guys, it's Fleckus. This week we're in El Paso, Texas for the Wallathon. We're here to crowdsource some funds to get the wall built on private property. Let's find out how we, the American people, can get this wall built. Fleckus talks.
Over here's El Paso, Texas. They have a wall. That's a pretty good wall, but it just kind of stops. Now, one of the barriers is supposed to be the Rio Grande River, but you can see that it's pretty passable. What happened is that they thought that this was basically impassable. In the old days, it used to be. Remember, the cartels have made a business of this. So the cartels are running both drugs through here and particularly people. Remember, sex trafficking and human trafficking is a higher margin business for the cartels than even drugs. So what drove this as being kind of a highway for the cartels was the fact that they saw this as it didn't have a wall.
The Corps of Engineers said that we could never build this. It wasn't economically feasible or just not possible, and it didn't stop enough trafficking. Well, we stopped 8,000 people to 30,000 people a month. 400 people a night were coming through here on average. There were 19 footpaths. There are now no longer any footpaths. We cut off 19 drug trails from the Sinaloa cartel. It's over. It's done. There have been no crossings in 24 days.
The one thing about this wall, it's helping people in Mexico as much as helping people in the United States. The people in Mexico are being terrorized by these cartels. The cartels, we're more at war, I think, with the cartels here in the United States than we are with the Taliban in Afghanistan. And I say that as a Navy veteran that, thinks our troops over there are doing a tremendous job. But right here, we've got the cartels are every bit as bad as the Taliban as far as trying to destroy the United States of America. And so we're helping the people in Mexico because this basically breaks the cartels.
We're going over to the sister side now, which is Anapra, where the wall that was built in 91 comes to an end. And they're funneling through that by the thousands.
Before they started construction of the wall, before they showed up, I was catching between 50 and 150 illegals a day.
What did you do? What was the protocol once you got them?
I make them sit down. I don't force them. I don't put my hands on them or anything like that. But I make them wait, and I call Border Patrol. Border Patrol comes and picks them up.
Here's the end of the wall, guys. Nothing to stop anybody. Fences and walls, whatever you want to call it, work. You're not going to stop everybody. We're not trying to stop everybody. This is a deterrent for the masses. The masses are what's going to destroy the country. It's as simple as that.
They would come through, they would steal, they would vandalize. I've had tires slashed. They've tried to kill my dog. They've thrown rocks at me. They've thrown rocks at her.
Vai, mas estou a trazer os melhores para lá.
I caught a guy one day trying to kill her with a piece of pipe.
Claramente não estou a trazer os melhores para lá.
I bought a 10-foot by 20-foot canopy one day so I could sit out and watch my daughter ride her bike around. I had it 4 hours. Bought a grill that same summer. We had it 2 weeks, and it all went across the border. They physically attack us. As I was telling you before, they throw these rocks and people don't see a problem with that. What they don't realize is how big these rocks are. I've got a scar on my shin the size of a grapefruit from one of these rocks.
What are some of the experiences you've had with people maybe coming across, or what have you seen that's really kind of blown your mind?
Well, the first night blew my mind. And I was used to it. I wasn't used to it at that scale. When the equipment started to come in on night number 2, it went down to 270 people. Night number 3, it went to 70. Night number 4 is at 30, and then we've had no intrusion since then. Nobody's crossed our area. The worst couple of things: catching 7 Syrians at the gate before we put up the gate, and the
Syrians. Sou da Síria. Sírios. Que tem que vir. Deixa-me ver. Mapa do mundo outra vez. Google Maps. Eu sei que é irónico estar a usar o tema do Google e depois usar o Google Maps. Porque eles têm. Falando nisso, usar a alternativa. Open Map. É melhor e tudo. Síria. Vamos lá ver. North México. Vai ser norte do México. Ok, México então só. E depois aí tratamos. Então México, estão a ver? Não é? A desenhar que os sírios entraram por aqui, alguns daqui no México, da Síria. Não é? Onde é que é a Síria? Mostrar-vos a Síria. Sim. Deixa eu ver. Já estou na Turquia. Deixa eu ver, agora perdi um bocadinho aqui. Isto agora está tudo escrito em. Tenho que usar o Google Maps. Peço desculpa pela. Ok, quando o menino faz uma coisa. Ok. México. Aqui é o norte do México. Imaginar que os sírios. Eu não sei, até podem vir pela cidade do México, do aeroporto, que eles de barco não vêm. Mas imaginar que vêm de barco. Não, vamos lá ver que vem do aeroporto. Vem aqui do aeroporto. Onde é que é a Síria? Vamos lá ver. Síria. Eu não quero que vocês esqueçam disso. Síria. Claro que é pago pelo Jorge Soros e outras organizações globalistas. Por isso, mesmo que contribuem um pouquinho para a nossa coisa, não há mal nenhum. Não é? Eles têm Jorge Soros. Okay, Síria. Bermudas. 12.000. Nossa. Tem a viagem de avião que eles têm que fazer para vir, para poder entrar. Claro que tem que ser ajudado por alguém como o João Soro ou outra pessoa qualquer. Não há outra maneira. Já agora. Agora. A horta. Agora o melhor. Onde é que está a minha coisas? Ok. Lisboa não é realmente Porto. Tão fixe como o Porto, na minha opinião. Mas, isto é essa coisa. Agora imagina a distância entre a Síria. E a distância daqui. Pronto, é só para vocês verem como tem que ser ajudado por alguém. Onde é que nós tínhamos? Isso quando o Louça diz que há violência por parte de quem está a fazer a muralha e por pessoas Não. Louça diz que as pessoas são violentas, brother. Eles estão a responder com violência, mesmo que fosse verdade. Vamos ser honestos que não é. O muro, a culpa de quem se afogar foi do pai e talvez do miúdo. Definitivamente do pai. Continuar.
Bought a grill that same summer. We had it 2 weeks, and it all went across the border. They physically attack us. As I was telling you before, they throw these rocks and people don't see a problem with that. What they don't realize is how big these rocks are. I've got a scar on my shin the size of a grapefruit from one of these rocks.
What are some of the experiences you've had with people maybe coming across, or what have you seen that's really kind of blown your mind?
Well, the first night blew my mind. And I was used to it. I wasn't used to it at that scale. When the equipment started to come in on night number 2, it went down to 270 people. Night number 3, it went to 70. Night number 4 is at 30, and then we've had no intrusions since then. Nobody's crossed our area. The worst couple of things, catching 7 Syrians at the gate before we put up the gate and the wall, that really is bad. What are Syrian nationals doing coming through the Mexican border? They're not coming.
Desde o aeroporto de Nova York, o aeroporto de Dallas, o aeroporto de Chicago, o aeroporto de Washington, o aeroporto de... o aeroporto de São Francisco, Los Angeles.
To kiss your sister.
So many of these criminals are deported, and the position I'm in and the stories that I hear that's not on mainstream media is some of these criminals have come back 7, 8, 13, 16, 27 times, and they've killed another American citizen. This is why this is so important.
Over here is Juarez, Mexico. That's one of the most dangerous cities.
Steven Ban está a ajudar-nos qual é o mal. Está a ajudar a nós e ao Bolsonaro. A esquerda e os lobistas têm o Jorge Soros que gasta milhões, paga pessoas para manifestarem-se nas coisas de Tommy Robbins, paga a Antifa e por aí adiante.
In the world, and it's become dangerous over the last few years because of the cartels. The cartels have made this one of the most dangerous, murder capitals. I think it's 36th or 37th in the world in per capita homicides, and the cartels basically run the city today.
People have to wake up. I mean, the country's, you have to do something. The government's inept. The Congress, Pelosi, Schumer, and both sides of the aisle in reality aren't doing a thing about this. Nothing. So the people have to.
There's so much danger. I mean, I've got a daughter. She used to come out here and spend weekends with me, but in the last 3 or 4 months, she's been out here 2 or 3 times. It's just not safe to even have my daughter out here. This is American soil. You shouldn't have to live like this in America.
That if we don't do something, the nation's going to fail. It won't be here. And that's the way it's headed. We're not servants, we're free people. We're the last free nation on the planet.
Okay, isso aí não concordo.
The worst thing about all this, the drugs are killing the children, the women, and this is, I don't even know if you can put it on tape, but there's not one woman that crosses this border older than 11 years old that doesn't get raped. And when I say raped, I don't mean just raped by a 16-year-old kid. I mean 20, 30 guys. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful.
Illegal aliens are from every country in this world. This is about people being illegally present in our country, ignoring our immigration laws. It's all about our politicians not fighting for the sovereignty of our country and protecting American citizens. My son became collateral damage in this political fight in Washington of their hate for our president and not wanting to get something done.
The Democrats don't want to fix this problem, and the rest of the country, they don't see it for what it really is. I can give you numbers all day long, and that means nothing. The people that are against this wall and think this...
É algo que nós não somos assim tão livres quanto isso, nós devemos ter direito a ter armas e tudo mais, sem ter que estar a ter licença.
This is racist. They need to come here and look and see for themselves. This has nothing to do with race. This has to do with a sovereign nation rights.
President Trump is been fought by everybody, by the establishment, the established order, the establishment Republican.
Eu tenho defendido um bocadinho, já. Presidente Trump. Podia não ter convidado os da Libéria para vir migrar para a América, não é? Coisa lá por aí.
The Democrats, he's now, they're tied up in the courts. They're trying to build, I think, 800 miles of wall.
Porque também há gente de migrantes legais na América, não é só ilegais. Não é?
I think there's 1,200 miles that have to be built, 800 miles of wall. They're actually building as we speak. There's certain areas and private property that are not included in the government's program. That's where we're like special forces. We're doing those niches that, you know, has been overlooked by the government because they're building wide swaths of wall, which they need to build, and they need to build as rapidly as possible. This is just to augment President Trump and the government's program, but you'll see in areas where they don't think it can be built, we can get private property, and we can, you know, if we continue to get donations, right? We got $24 million in the first couple of months. We spent about, you know, 6 to 8 here. We've got much more we want to build on the other side to connect. We want to build up this wall. Plus, we've got about 10 other projects in places like Texas, Arizona, California, and New Mexico. And so we're going to try to build as much as we more money we raise, the more wall we can build.
The biggest thing that got me is I become friends with the angel families and angel parents. When you sit with someone who's had their son killed by a drunk driver or had their son shot in the face because he couldn't count change fast enough, killed by illegals, it just, it'll change the entire way you feel.
Todos os illegals todos os imigrantes ilegais são criminosos, porque cometeram o crime de entrar ilegalmente num país.
On May 12, 2014, my son was driving home from work, and a drunk, repeat illegal alien criminal, he was 3 times the legal limit drunk, high on meth. He had driven over 35 miles the wrong way on the freeway in Phoenix and slammed head-on into my son, killing him. And, you know, that finding out the leniency that was shown to this man who had already committed crimes and was just given a slap on the wrist and left just to be in our country and commit another crime and, you know, kill my son, that's what catapulted me into this fight. Angel families have experienced ultimate loss. It's nothing that I want to wish on anybody, and there's nothing I can say or any of the angel families can say or do, or any of the board members or members of this organization to prevent, you know, to bring my son back, to bring any of our loved ones back. But hopefully something that we say or do will prevent it from happening to another American family, and this is going to be a huge deterrent.
2 weeks ago, this is where 1,032 people came running through. We're going to stop. We're going to take a look. This is cartel. This is all cartel. If you're out here at night by yourself, mister, you better be a pretty tough individual.
Wow.
Yeah, all that.
So this is open?
See that rise right there? Last Saturday, we were over here working, doing GIS locations. We had 8 of them come after us with AK-47s. We got it on tape and we got it on picture film, you know, snapshots. We just haven't released it yet. They were chasing my truck. They were chasing me. They know who I am. They want my ass.
The Army Corps of Engineers said this thing is almost too impossible to build. And that's where we were able to have the opportunity to do it with a private construction. We did it for about $6.5–7 million. This entire wall, all the way from the Rio Grande River to up here to into the cliff of the beginning of Mount Cristo Rey, was basically done in 72 hours.
Currently, like the border wall we're looking at now, they pay $17 million a flat mile. We built a mountain mile. Half a mile rather, mountain half a mile for less than what they pay on flat ground. And we gave them a highway, and we gave them fiber optics, and we gave them lighting, and we gave them audio deterrence, and we gave them everything they wanted, Connex huts, water retention, everything.
All right, good wall. Hard to climb.
We're trying to explain how critical every dollar is to success, and they have no idea the gratitude of everybody that's watching and everybody that's doing. This is a serious, serious issue. This is the same as the Transcontinental Railroad. This is Americans saying, we've had enough of your bull. We are going forward, and we're going to do it ourselves because you're inept. You know, the worst thing you'd be told when you're doing any type of job is, you're inept. Well, Congress is inept.
Yeah, we gotta hit those links. Rebuildthewall.us. Donate whatever you can. I'm gonna donate $100 and get a brick with your name on it.
$100, you get your name forever. You're not gonna live forever. Your name's gonna be on top of the mountain. Brian Colfage, he's got his Purple Heart up there. I'm not leaving Brian on the mountain alone. I'm kicking in $100. I want my name up there with him as well. I'm not gonna leave him in the snow. I'm not gonna leave him in the rain. I'm gonna be up there with Brian because I'm not gonna be here forever.
Absolutely.
My brick will be.
As will mine. So get to rebuildthewall.us. Donate what you can. If everyone watching this video donates a good amount, we can really put a dent in this problem and get some more wall built directly. Private the wall is the best idea. Congress isn't helping us. Democrats want people suffering so they can blame it on Trump. This is the only way to get around it. Donate, links are in the bio. This has been a fantastic experience so far. I live in downtown Los Angeles. I live right near Skid Row, so I'm very familiar with, you know, the government not prioritizing the American citizens. It's kind of the recurring theme we see here. I think as long as we keep this going forward in the next few days, we can really make a difference and show Americans that the power does lie with the people.
I was taught if you are not happy with the way the situation's going, get up a little earlier and get at it a little harder. Make it happen.
We got wall merch.
Mexico's being overrun, and nobody realizes the Mexican side of the story. We come here on the weekends. They're coming from Guadalajara. They're coming from busloads taking a picture in front of the wall, because the Mexican people are wait a minute. The American people are doing this on their own. Okay, we need to do it too. There's a fever catching on. Nationalism is okay, and good fences make good neighbors. Just simple as that.
Absolutely.
Se eu tenho um grande muro, eu separava os meus vizinhos. Olha que eu também não tenho vizinhos, mas isto é outra história. Mas se tivesse vizinhos, o muro dava-me jeito, ainda tornava mais. Já agora que eu também queria fazer um vídeo sobre LGBT.
Hey guys, it's Fleckus. This week we're in West Hollywood, California for the Pride Parade. We're going to talk to some people here and see if we can get them to agree that Trump is not that bad. Let's see what's going on. Fleckus talks. What is Pride all about?
Pride's all about showing your inner self, your inner love, and being able to say you love someone without being judged.
Pride's all about unity, diversity, and having love for your fellow man, whatever they're into, you know?
Very cool, very cool. What's the message of the day? What's it all about?
Pride, just loving each other no matter what.
I thought I was covered in hair and sweating, but I think this takes it to a whole new level. What kind of questions? I'm going to say, what brings you out here today?
Just common questions.
Yeah. Do you want to know the truth?
The truth about what?
Why I'm here?
Why are you here?
Trump is not that bad.
What? Negative, he's terrible.
No, he's not bad. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm Austin. What's your name?
Maxton.
Nice. Your name's Maxton?
Yes, what's up?
Very nice, very nice. What's Pride all about?
Pride's all about love. Period. Love is first. You don't have to be anything except yourself this weekend.
Very nice.
Thank you.
What do you think of Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Remind me to light my house on fire later. So what is Pride all about?
Pride's all about celebrating being gay, guys.
And love, acceptance, tolerance, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool, very cool. What do you think about Donald Trump?
Donald Trump. He can burn in hell.
Very nice.
He can burn in hell for trying to get rid of trans.
Describe Trump in one word, what would you say?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump! Donald Trump!
Do you think he does anything for the LGBT community?
Nah, at all.
What if I told you there's some things he's done that are pretty good? Would you believe me?
I'm not going to listen to you.
You don't believe me?
No, thank you.
On a global sense, what's the number one issue for the LGBTQ community?
Agree. Discrimination.
Yeah?
Yep. No equality.
Yeah. In a lot of countries, it's illegal. A lot of the Islamic countries, Muslim majority countries, it's illegal to be gay in a lot of those countries, and people get criminalized for it. Do you think that those countries should be allowed to criminalize homosexuality?
No.
What if I told you that Donald Trump agrees with you and he's pushing legislation that would make it illegal for those countries to discriminate? Bye.
No.
What if I told you that's true? It's true.
And it probably is true, but at the end of the day, no.
Still no?
No.
So you'd rather those countries continue to discriminate and make it illegal to be gay?
No.
But then you're not happy that Trump's fixing the problem?
Is he fixing all the problems?
There's certain countries in the world that criminalize homosexuality, and he wants to make it illegal for them to do that. Do you think that's a good thing? When he first got into office, he made it his administration's goal to get AIDS completely off the planet within 10 years.
Okay.
Pretty good?
I guess.
He's trying to decriminalize homosexuality globally.
Well, he's an idiot. I mean, it's just
he doesn't understand people. He understands Donald Trump, and that's it. So it's a personal vendetta.
His administration wants to get rid of AIDS off the planet within the next 10 years. That's a goal of his administration. Pretty good?
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
Okay.
Not that bad. Look. Trump is not that bad.
Trump.
Wow.
Trump, period. Trump, period.
Heard it here first. You grabbed me pretty hard. Good thing I'm not like an aggressive guy. I would have fucked you up.
I'm gonna fight you today.
Yeah.
All about love. Donald Trump, period.
All right. What brings you to Pride today?
My rights as a gay man.
Very nice, very nice. And what is Pride all about?
Inclusiveness. And...
Tentem perceber isto. Se a homossexualidade não é uma escolha e não é um ato de desnegero, então não vou ser orgulho de algo que tu és, só vou ser orgulho de algo que tu fazes.
Actually, religion doesn't matter here.
Very nice. I want to
respect your religion, but we want to be able to have gay sex.
And I think you should be able to too. I want to introduce you tonight.
Gay sex nunca foi legal. Casamento ser reconhecido é que foi legal.
Yeah. Donald Trump is not that bad. Trump is not that bad.
Who said that?
I do. I think he's not that bad. Do you agree?
I think he is destroying the integrity of our democracy.
How has Pride kind of gone
Mas é que vão destruir a integridade
off the rails, and where has it gone away from? What should it be more about?
I think I saw it more in California. It's like being gay or LGBT community is your identity, and if you don't follow the guidelines, their agenda, you're out of the community. It's happened to me.
LGBT, lésbicas, gays, bissexuais, transexuais, quizzaciously, pedófilo, o Pedro pansexual, zizia de qualquer coisa que eu já não sei muito bem. É um grande negócio. Não tenho dúvidas disso, que é um grande negócio. O mundo inteiro desta coisa é impossível ganhar algo, seja o que for, depois de ter que aturar durante o mundo inteiro. Isto é um negócio em que assim, as pessoas odeiam as pessoas ficam fartas da homossexualidade e reagem e eles processam, não é como a história do Baker, processam as pessoas que têm uma reação mais, não, quem tiver uma reação violenta merece ser processado, mas que tem uma reação mais coisa tipo recusar, servir ou dizer qualquer coisa no Twitter ou qualquer coisa, eles processam e ganham dinheiro. Isto é um negócio. Teve um gajo que eu...
I'm a gay conservative, and when people, I'm not following their agenda, they tell me like, you're not gay, or like, you're not married. It's like, you're refusing all my rights because I don't follow your agenda. It's like, is that being that inclusive?
I should not have wasted my time with you.
Okay, very nice. Enjoy your inclusivity, sir.
My boyfriend, and he's f***ing gone because he's pissed off at me for wasting my time with you.
I was very polite to you, sir. You're the one who's being rude and hateful. It's all about love and acceptance, sir. Love and acceptance. Practice what you preach, please. What issue facing the LGBT community today?
I think trans rights, transgendered accepted people, people of minority.
Outra razão falando nisso, vai com uma preta odeia gay. Pretos odeiam gays, para ver, por isso que não falava aqui é só a palavra, é só buzzwords.
Minorities in the LGBT community, so black, trans, gay people of color, I still think struggle a lot more than the rest of the people in our community, the white gay people in our community. I think we need to really focus on getting the entire gay community up to speed and getting all of us equal rights.
What about globally?
Louça gay. Louça gay explica melhor. Não é bem isso que eu... Nós sabemos que isto também está a ser espalhado, que é para... Nós não sabemos porque é que isto também está a acontecer. Isto é porque é uma maneira de reduzir a população branca. E é, porque as crianças assim envolvidas nestas coisas não ficam gays, vão ficar... Não, tem uma vida sexual esquisita quando forem adultos. Não é? Ou não tem vida nenhuma sexual. Ficam confusos e hoje em dia ser rapaz, ser homem ou rapaz é tratado como se fosse uma coisa horrorosa e por aí adiante. Bem, isto é um negócio. Isto é um negócio que eles fazem estas paradas. Que é difícil ninguém odiar estas paradas, não é? São mesmo... Pelo menos nós um bocadinho mais sóbrias daqui em Portugal. Um bocadinho mais sóbrias que as de Los Angeles. Vamos primeiro ver como é que é uma... A prova de que isto é tudo para reduzir a população nativa europeia, a população branca, a população europeia, ou se em vídeos como este, do Paulo J.
So June is LGBT Pride Month.
Não interessa uma coisa, não logo as pessoas fiquem chateadas.
Shit. Here we go again. I know gay people. I've got gay friends, gay family members, gay lovers. Not the last one. People are born gay. No one chooses to be gay. It's perfectly normal. And in the West,
E se é normal, então não tem que ter... Se nascem assim, não tem que ter orgulho. A pessoa não tem que ter orgulho de algo. Não tem que ter, nem deve ter orgulho de algo que é apenas de algo que faz.
Polls show that people accept that. Gay rights won, which
Ou também não deve ter orgulho de coisas que faz mal, por isso é que eu não tenho orgulho dos meus vídeos.
is why some people question the nature of gay pride parades. It may shock you to learn this, but some gay people don't like gay pride parades. Based gays. I know, sounds incredible, but some people don't think that this...
A maioria também são pretos, por isso pode ser por causa disso que fazem isso e não por serem gays. Quando é esta coisa de abanar por serem gays e de esquerda, não é?
Portrays the gay community in a...
Eu não tenho nenhum amigo gay, mas para ser honesto não tenho praticamente nenhum amigo, por isso a probabilidade de ter um amigo gay, tendo em conta que gays são menos de 1% e eu praticamente não tenho nenhum, é muito baixo.
Incredible light. I know. Some gay people actually think that screeching incoherently while twerking on top of cop cars, while surrounded by hundreds of drunken imbeciles, isn't that dignified? What bigots? Gay pride is all about love. It's all about diversity. Unless that's diversity of opinion, then it's all about hate.
Pride's all about unity, diversity, and having love for your fellow man, whatever they're into.
Pride, just loving each other, no matter what.
Love, acceptance, tolerance, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. What do you think about?
É impossível alguém não odiar isto, com vez das roupas e isto e o grau de pedofilia envolvido. E é isso que eles fazem com que sejam mais... Em vez de fazerem uma parada em que mostram, sei lá, as maiores pessoas, mais importantes pessoas do mundo, touring. Também é uma parada essencialmente dedicada a touring. Não, fazem esta paneleirice.
Donald Trump.
F*** Donald Trump. He could burn in hell.
Pride's all about love. What do you think of Donald Trump? F*** Donald Trump. There's certain countries in the world that criminalize homosexuality, and he wants to make it illegal for them to do that. Do you think that?
Eu isso não acho. Acho bem que eu acho mal que os países que a homossexualidade. Ele não pode criar leis para. Donald Trump vai criar leis para outros países. O que ele pode fazer, e é o que eu recomendava, é restrições, estes impostos e certas limitações e boicotar e impedir que eles vendam ou compram coisas nos Estados Unidos da América.
That's a good thing?
Como é que eu posso, meu filho da porra?
Trump. Yeah. Love.
Being gay is perfectly normal, which is why it's
Não é
necessary.
normal. Algo que é menos de 1% não é normal, mas... Ok, vamos chamar normal.
To have a Macy's-style XXX themed parade with men's tackle hanging out, reminding everyone that it's normal every 5 minutes. But if I had one criticism, it's that the LGBTQ lobby is not being very inclusive by failing to include the letter Z for zoosexuality. Apparently, zoophiles, and yes, it means what you think it means, is now a protected, oppressed minority on Twitter. Which reminds me, as society hurtles towards a dumpster fire of depravity, a new trend has emerged. Women having, shall we say, very intimate relationships with their dogs. Yes, it means what you think it means. It was first revealed in Nancy Friday's 1973 cult sexuality.
Eu disse antes de 70 foi quando esta merda começou toda. Muito antes de eu ter nascido. Começou muito antes de eu ter... Mas mesmo muito antes de ter nascido. Esta merda toda desde o excesso de imigrantes. Claro que isto não começou em Portugal porque nós tínhamos algumas proteções, tínhamos uma verdadeira democracia, estávamos numa verdadeira coisa. E só num mundo em que não há democracia, mas há algo a fazer de conta que é uma democracia, é que isto acontece.
Tome My Secret Garden that yes, women fantasize about dogs.
Guess they didn't tell you.
And in recent times, they seem to be increasingly acting on those fantasies. Most of these news stories from just the first page of a Google search all happened in the last 2 years. Gross, but not quite as gross as children as young as 3 being subjected to gender reassignment treatment. The number of youngsters...
Eu quando era pequeno, queria ser um monte de organismos, acho eu, ou transforma-se. Ou espanhol, que ainda é mais estranho do que essas coisas todas. Pelo menos de organismos é fixe, agora espanhol. Com essa lógica, não é? Mas bem, se tivessem sido tão malucos como os pais destas pessoas...
referred to the Gender Identity Development Service in London rose from 94 in 2010 to 2,519 last year. Did thousands more children just suddenly decide they wanted to swap genders, or is it being imposed on them as some kind of macabre experiment by their identity politics obsessed parents? Gee, I wonder. 5 whistleblowers at the NHS transgender clinic in Britain quit after revealing that children, again as young as 3, were being falsely diagnosed with gender dysphoria and given hormone blockers to stop their development before puberty. Transgender children are like vegan cats. You know they're not the ones making the decision. Meanwhile, in America, transgender summer camps for kids. Perfectly normal.
The idea was that it would be a summer day camp in which gender diverse youth could come together, have fun, and...
Nós sabemos que isto está a ser puxado e não vemos este tipo de merda a ser puxado em Bagdá, mas vemos a ser puxado aqui para reduzir a população europeia. Não é? Por uma razão que não vimos isto a ser puxado no meio do Congo, nem a ser puxado este tipo de políticas e este tipo de coisas em África do Sul ou no Uganda.
Feel a sense of gender identity pride.
Transgender researchers disagree that age 3 is too young to change genders. And who could argue with them? Because as we all know, Desmond is amazing.
You have faced some criticism for this video, which shows Desmond performing at a gay bar with men throwing money at him. Do you think that is the right environment for a 12-year-old? Even sort of some of the gay men who were there said that they felt very uncomfortable with his performance.
I don't understand what the controversy is. What has this world...
Eu acho que a esquerda está a usar a senhora E por sua vez está a ajudar a criança, porque a senhora parece ter algum atraso.
It's come to a world where drag kids actually exist.
And people do ketamine on a couch. And people do ketamine on a...
Que é uma droga. Ketamine é uma droga usada para violar pessoas. Acho eu. Nunca tomei drogas na minha vida. Eu nem sequer bebo álcool. Eu sou abstémico. Nem com marisco. A única razão que eu não sou judeu é exatamente porque não bebo álcool e não como marisco. Quase podia ser judeu se não fosse o fato de eu dar porco. Adoro carne de porco. É mesmo muito bom.
I understand what the controversy is.
Oh yeah, and these people...
Mas quando eu digo que adoro carne de porco, mesmo muito, vocês não têm a dizer. Eu sou do Porto. Eu sou do Porto, por isso. Para começar, tripa da mala do Porto. Tripas enfarinhadas. Perfeito. Eu adoro mesmo carne de porco. Mas eu adoro qualquer tipo de forma de carne de porco. E javali. E viado. Também gosto muito de viado. Também gosto de comida vegetariana. E já agora, o que eu estou a falar agora é mais interessante que paneleirice toda. Leitão. Adoro leitão. Não gosto muito de Santos de Leitão. Eu conheço um gajo chamado Sr. Francisco, que eu recomendo. Há um senhor chamado Sr. Francisco, ou Sra. Francisca, agora não me estou a lembrar. Acho que Francisco é o nome de família. E o marido e a esposa chamam-se. Um chama-se Senhor e outro chama-se Sra. Francisca. Eu recomendo que vão lá. E. Não. Ele é um transexual. Sr. Francisco dos Leitões. Eu recomendo que vão lá. É perto da Maia. E recomendo que vão lá, que as Santos de Leitão deles são boas. Está bem? Eu não sou assim tão transfóbico como as pessoas dizem. Bem, isso é uma fobia. Em vez de as pessoas que são transfóbicas, em vez de estarem a ser maltratadas, vão estar a receber subsídios. Porque transfobia diz que é uma doença. E em Portugal, que eu saiba, as pessoas que têm doenças recebem subsídios.
Controversy is.
Não sei a palavra. Transfóbico e islamofóbico. Quem critica o Islão e o islamofóbico, quem critica o cristianismo e o Ocidente é cristãofóbico e ocidentofóbico? É uma boa questão. Acho que é. Alguém devia investigar. Não digo eu, mas alguém devia investigar, honestamente. Continuando a ver. Eu gosto de meter um bocadinho mais para trás, que é para.
Camp in which gender diverse youth could come together, have fun, and feel a sense of gender identity pride.
Transgender researchers disagree that age 3 is too young to change genders. And who could argue with them? Because as we all know, Desmond is amazing.
You have faced some criticism for this video, which shows Desmond performing at a gay bar with men throwing money at him. Do you think that is the right...
Que futuro é que vai ter um adulto saudável? E já agora, isto também se aplica a crianças, em países em que há muito mais tempo que em Portugal, eles podem adotar. As crianças tornam-se adultos péssimos. Crianças que são adotadas por gays tornam-se um dos piores tipos de adultos que existe à face da Terra.
Right environment for a 12-year-old. Even sort of some of the gay men who were there said that they felt very uncomfortable with his performance.
I don't understand what the...
Além disso, tendem a votar na esquerda. Por isso, logo aí...
Controversy is. What has this world come to? It's come to a world where drag kids actually exist.
And people do ketamine on a couch.
Eu já tinha dito há um bocado que ketamine é uma droga para violar, acho eu. Eu não tenho a certeza porque eu não tomo droga. Eu não tenho quase a certeza.
And people do ketamine on a couch.
E com... que nojo. Um nariz que nojento e depois é aquele de plástico.
I don't understand what the controversy is.
Honestamente, ela parece ter um atraso mental. Eu acho que é a esquerda a usá-la, por sua vez ela usa a criança. Ela parece ter mesmo um atraso mental.
Oh yeah, and these people also get to decide what opinions you can and can't express. What could possibly go wrong? Another development that based gays don't like is the crusade to normalise paedophilia under the ever-expanding umbrella of alternative sexual lifestyles.
It is our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles and to treat them with the same respect we treat other people with. We should accept that pedophilia is a sexual preference.
We're talking about a sexual orientation.
Watch him rollin', watch him go. He be rollin' down the street. He be rollin' to the beat. He be rollin' down the street.
Nós sabemos muito bem que crianças que são violadas nunca têm uma vida sexual normal, como são adultas. E claro, e assim a população. E há outra razão também, para incentivar, para se sentir muçulmanos mais em casa. Como vocês já veem, muçulmanos seguem Mohamed, era um pedófilo. Casou-se com uma rapariga de 7 anos e teve sexo com essa rapariga aos 9. Consagrou o casamento com a rapariga com 9 anos.
Watch him roll.
Instead of being sent to prison, pedos in the UK are going to be asked to attend remedial workshops similar to drunk drivers. Pedos are also using Instagram as a secret...
Isso aqui deviam ter... Deviam era ser atirado as chaves, ou pelo menos apanhar prisão perpétua com 30... Como é que era aquela história? Como é que era? Eu acho que a pena máxima em Portugal devia ser 30 prisão perpétua e só ao fim de 37 anos. 37 anos. É que a pessoa podia sair com liberdade condicional.
Portal to access illegal material, but just thank God my dangerous selfies are still banned. But Snapchat appears to be sympathetic, announcing in a recent promo for Pride Month...
Snapchat, mas fui expulso 2 vezes do Facebook. Eu fui expulso uma vez do Facebook, depois criei outra conta do Facebook, fui expulso. E a segunda vez disse, foda-se, não vale a pena. E Twitter foi expulso uma vez, depois de ter sido expulso disso, foda-se, não tem interesse nenhum.
Love has no age. Apparently, love has no species either.
My name is Jareth Nebula, and I am an agender alien. Being an alien is more than just my gender. It's how I am.
Sim, se eu fosse realmente um alien, claro que não tinha nada a ver com gênero. Seria uma espécie completamente diferente. Ou um reino. Provavelmente até seria um reino. Eu acho que tecnicamente um alien não seria... Um alien, se aliens existir... Se extraterrestres existirem, se existem ou se existirem, se nós vezes encontrar, não podemos chamar nem sequer animais, temos que entrar noutro grupo. Acho eu, não tenho certeza.
I've never really felt right.
Twenty-three-year-old Vinny O is making it his mission to become a real-life alien.
I see my life progressing to...
E eu não tinha muito problema com isso se isto não fosse pago com os nossos impostos. Ou seja, neste caso com os impostos dos ingleses.
A more otherworldly look. I'm looking to change
my... Se puder ser o seu próprio corpo, com o seu próprio dinheiro, eu não tenho qualquer tipo de problema. É quando envolve crianças ou envolve o meu dinheiro.
Genitals, so that way there is nothing there. Just maybe like a hole to pee out of.
Monogamy is also so last century.
The kids love it, extra present.
As Camille Paglia explains, history tells us that the normalization of obscure sexual proclivities often precedes the collapse of cultures.
These fine gradations of gender identity. Okay, I'm a male trans doing this with that going move. This is a symptom of decadence. I'm sorry. As sexual personae talks about this. That was in fact the inspiration of sexual personae was that my overview of history and my noticing that in late phases you all of a sudden get a proliferation of homosexuality, of sadomasochism, of gender games and impersonations and masks and so on. So I believe we're in a late phase. We're in a late phase of culture.
So that the proliferation of cultural identities, the proliferation of all sorts of possibilities is actually a sign that we're
on the verge of collapse.
Yeah.
Yes, Western culture is in decline.
And listen to this. This was written in the 1988 rulebook for the tabletop RPG Cyberpunk 2020, predicting over 30 years ahead of time exactly what life would be like in 2020. Diversity and unity. It is now accepted among historical scholars that in the decades before the collapse, America suffered from the sicknesses of racism and cultural identity. Everyone wanted to be seen as special. Every group had to be equal to, or preferably better than its neighbours, and fought to protect its special rights. If anyone had something that someone else wanted, they were painted as racist, sexist, elitist, or worse. This divisive me-first attitude eventually tore the fabric of American culture apart and caused it to self-destruct in a fireball of competing ideologies, none of which truly recognized each other's validity. Diversity led inexorably to anarchy. Yeah, seems kind of familiar, doesn't it? Abortion. Abortion is gross. A society that treats its unborn like medical waste is doomed. But whatever your views on reproductive rights, abortion should never be celebrated. Now the queen of degeneracy, Miley Cyrus, has whipped out her disgusting tongue yet again for this masterpiece. Yeah, normal people...
E eu também não tenho grandes problemas com o aborto desde que a pessoa pague. No momento em que as mulheres pagassem dos seus abortos, em vez de ser o Estado a pagar com o nosso dinheiro, acreditem, os abortos acabavam-se, reduziam-se a um nível muito baixo, ou acabavam-se completamente. No momento em que nós...
People use cakes to celebrate birth, not death. Also, normal people don't talk about abortion bringing them a sense of inner peace after they've just chemically dissolved their own baby twins.
What I hope I feel is a sense of peace, not only with myself and in the decision that I've made, but also a sense of peace with these two beings that I've chosen not to bring into the world. Thank you for choosing me, and I'm honored to be given this gift of life. And also, I can't do it right now.
Meanwhile, modern masculinity remains as confused as ever. Commercials showing traditional gender roles have been banned in the UK. Commercials showing men as incompetent, hapless, clumsy morons, they'll continue as normal. But now that testosterone levels have dropped so low, men have stopped wearing socks. No one wants to see your puny ankles. It's a disgrace. Cover them up.
If you're going to wear a suit, if you've got to wear a suit, make sure the tie sort of is a little sort of token gesture of a tie sort of halfway up, and whatever you do, get your ankles out. Girls love it when your ankles are swinging at you. Remember, you've got a lot of options with the cut. You can be slim, right? You can be skinny. This is the stuff girls like. Slim, skinny, super skinny, spray on. You've got to keep yourself skinny, because if you don't, you won't fit into these shorts. If you don't fit into them, no one's going to like you, man. You've got to get this little hat on your head. The little fisherman's hat. Ideal combo. Pink shorts. Fisherman's hat. Guys, seriously, if you're struggling to get a date, this is what you need, man. You need short, pink shorts, bro. Short as you can get them. Guys, no one is trying to emasculate you. Okay? Just put on the pink shorts. Okay? And these jeans. And just... Be a guy. This is the most masculine outfit I've seen. It's in the fucking women's section. There's less pink up here.
The media is now attacking young men who get plastic surgery to look better. When women get plastic surgery, yes, you go girl, whatever makes you feel better about yourself. When men get plastic surgery, loser incels desperately mutilating their faces. But given that the average age for Western women wanting to settle down is heading towards geriatric levels, why even bother making the effort at all? Would you give up this for this? Would you give up?
Isso aí aqui. Isso é que mete mais nojo. De todas as coisas. Eu sei que não há mesmo coisas muito nojentas neste tipo, mas de todas as coisas esta é que te mete mais nojo. Porque isto foi feito pelos impostos dos ingleses. Isto é o futuro que vai acontecer em Portugal. Acreditem. Se nós não fizermos nada, isto é o nosso futuro. E isto é horrível. E se havia alguma dúvida que isto tinha a ver com... Se tinha alguma dúvida que tinha a ver com reduzir a população europeia ao máximo.
This for this? Would you give up an endless cycle of nihilistic, meaningless, degenerate debauchery for authentic, life-sustaining happiness? Apparently not.
Okay, so would you like to see Sharia law in Canada replace Canadian law?
At some point it will. You know, because we have families, we are making babies. You're not. Your population is going down the slump.
While some people on the planet are busy having babies, men in the West are busy attaching cameras to their schlongs. Gross. And then there's vegans.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
There are two types of vegans. Vegans who don't eat meat because they genuinely care about animal welfare, and vegans who think being vegan is a substitute for having a personality. It's not. Literally no one. Vegans. Yeah, seeing you being branded like cattle and rolling around in fake blood doesn't want to make me embrace whatever's going on inside your sick head. It makes me want to run in the opposite direction, to the nearest McDonald's. According to Vice, the publication that gave a platform to a paedophile...
Watch him roll it. Watch him go.
The publication that instructed people how to insert animals up their anus. The publication that instructed women how to make breakfast with their vagina. And the publication that sends weirdos to comedy nights in London to spy on my reactions. Yeah, those guys. Well, according to Vice, my distaste for modernity is born out of me being a deeply bitter bully who derives no pleasure whatsoever from life. Really? Well, if this is how you derive pleasure from modern life, I'm gonna have to say... no.
It's absolutely crucial for us to stay in touch that you subscribe to my free newsletter right now at summit.news/newsletter. Link in description.
Again.
E eu podia fazer isto, mas os gajos não... Os gajos que eu tento comunicar não... Não veem as coisas como... Acaba por ser mais fácil eu meter no meu canal do YouTube do que estar... E é normal que uma pessoa depois odeia a homossexualidade quando eles fazem um mês inteiro dedica. A maioria das coisas, fizer um mês inteiro e não parar de falar disso, claro que as pessoas odeiam. Não é? E é por isso que eu digo que esta coisa da LGBT é um negócio. Muitas pessoas a ganhar imenso dinheiro com isso. Além daquela questão de que é para reduzir a população europeia. Por isso é que não vemos isto a ser puxado no Congo ou no coisa. no Congo, no Bagdade, ou no Uganda, ou em Angola. Nós não vemos essas coisas sempre, ou em África do Sul, ou por aí adiante. Não é? Agora, vamos ver como é que é português. Pelo menos sempre um bocadinho mais levezinha. Apesar de ter os seus problemas, como tem muita partilhada. Mas as paradas portuguesas pelo menos são um bocadinho mais sóbrias. Pelo menos isso, são um bocadinho mais sóbrias. Aqui o meu canal. Isto de mês da LGBT.
It would seem that I am either stalking gay pride festivals around the world or it's just one giant coincidence. Maybe both. Either way, I found myself in Lisbon and am attending my second Pride Festival of the year. The first being in Tokyo, a link to which can be found in the description. And let's just say that this one here in Lisbon, was as different to what you would expect as Tokyo was. And I will tell you why in the next few minutes. So I'm here in Lisbon and was handed this brochure, and what do you know? It's Gay Pride Day, and it was going to be held in the Commerce Square in the city center, right on the harbor, in the shadow of what is called the Rua Augusta Arch. Now, I've been to many different gay pride festivals in North America, Asia, and Northern Europe, but this was my first gay pride festival in Southern Europe, and to say that it differs from festivals in places like Vancouver, Sydney, and San Francisco as much as it does in Tokyo is actually an understatement. For all intents and purposes, the Pride Festival was not only better attended in Tokyo, but it was racier, if that's even possible. Again, if you're interested, see the link on the festival in Tokyo in the description for more information. So, in fact, with the exception of a few drag queens that were sprinkled in the crowd and those putting on performances and the odd same-sex couple holding hands, the event was thoroughly G-rated in Lisbon, with only a few girls wearing sexualized cosplay. Moreover, the event had more of a predominantly straight music festival meat market than that of any Pride event I've ever attended. Moreover, and I'm not shy to say, I was chatted up by and chatted with more than a few cute Portuguese as well as other assorted women of varying nationalities at the festival in the darkened crowd that was pulsating with light music as well as heightened hormones and pheromones. That said, what got me thinking, and this is just my own thoughts, is that the level of lascivious behavior at events such as these is directly related to the level of adherence to an Abrahamic faith and its traditions. In that, in cities like San Francisco, Vancouver, and Sydney, where Christianity is almost absent, the debauchery during festivals such as this is pretty much unlimited. Gibbs, twinks, bears, and the public display of junk and orifices are all pretty much the order of the day. While on the other end...
meatballs, mas é muito mais sóbrio do que... Quase podia passar por uma festa de São João normal, quase.
The moral compass, such displays, and the lifestyle itself is so forbidden in the Islamic world. East Asian countries with a Buddhist tradition lie somewhere in the middle, with most being pretty much ambivalent toward the entire question of sexuality and gender. The city of Lisbon seemed to me somewhere in the middle of these two extremes, and with grand churches on every other street, It also seemed to me that Catholicism, while weakening, still appears to have some influence on the people, their city, and more importantly, on their public behavior. While watching the event, I also realized that what is publicly acceptable, what is moral and what is immoral, what is understood as right and what is understood as wrong, can change rapidly, and it has. The moral compass in the West has changed radically since as recently as the 1990s, in that TV shows like Friends are now seen as oppressive, bigoted, and problematic. Moreover, since the 1990s, an entirely new vocabulary has sprung up to articulate this new moral reality we find ourselves in. Cis, trans, dead-naming, microaggressions, insert label phobia, privilege, things being problematic, ally, woke, etc. There has been such a massive transformation in what is supposedly the moral consensus in the Western world that vast swaths of the population actually have no idea what it is or even what it all means. And the thing is, despite what all of the woke activists that mime at being journalists and their legion-strong enablers, as well as those in the center and on the right and other spectrums of the political compass, do not seem to realize, is that this new moral reality that we currently inhabit has taken hold at a breathtaking pace and is just as likely to be replaced in the very near future. The moral compass of the Western world has been totally replaced in as little as 50 years. The decimation of the family, of religion, and even of fertility are the fruits of our new secular hegemony. In countries like the UK, botching a procedure that ends in death is not as serious of an incident of professional malpractice as is having the wrong opinions in the current climate. But what is essential to understand is that this current moral climate is being championed, for the most part, by those that will not or do not have children, and when they do, there simply is not enough of them to replenish the ranks of the ideologically woke. Demographics is destiny. The West is currently...
Com o seu hijab. Não usam burca, nem só usam hijab. Mas hijab ia ser proibido em Portugal, como a burca. Burca e hijab ia ser proibido em Portugal.
And radically transforming itself, and it is those that will make the children for tomorrow that will dictate where the moral compass of society will point. Evidence of this can be seen already in places as far afield as Canada, where Chinese communities are fiercely against allowing migrants into their community, or in the UK, where Muslim parents are refusing to allow the state to teach their primary school-aged children about LGBT relations. Now, this presentation isn't about what group is right or what group is wrong. It's more about understanding our unique place in history and how nobody is on the right side of history, as we are constantly told we need to be on, but that the future is fluid and history is only a window into the shadows of a bygone era. Our moral and cultural taboos and certainties are just as fleeting as those that lived 50, 100, or 500 years ago. The thing is, most people just don't realize it. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this kind of material, please consider subscribing. Also follow Black Pigeon on the usual social media. And again, my thanks to all of you for the support that this channel...
Eu ainda gostava de fazer um filme sobre como é que a esquerda estragou-me a minha opinião sobre carros elétricos. Eu não tive muito gostado de carros elétricos por causa da esquerda, agora odeio. Odeio.
Milkshaking has finally gone too far. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, bringing you the obvious. And today, on Twitter.com, here we have a tweet by the Portland Police, and something I predicted a long time ago has come to pass. I predicted that milkshaking would not just end with milkshakes. Eventually, someone would be hit.
Ele doou dinheiro ao
whether
gajo
the milkshake
que foi vítima. Simplesmente para mandar um grande fuck you à esquerda. Fuck you! Fuck you! Aqui. E eu, se pudessem dar um dinheiro, era porreiro. Mas eu preferia que dessem a este coisa. Deixa eu ver, está aqui. A este gajo. Este gajo é que merece mesmo. Sim. Se pudessem dar, era importante. Ainda falta bastante para chegarmos aos 75. E é importante chegarmos porque assim incentivava mais pessoas a sair para fora e a divulgar os ataques contra a esquerda, os ataques contra a direita que as grandes companhias como a Google fazem. Não é capaz de aparecer aqui o meu nome ainda. Aqui está o meu nome. E se pudessem dar algum dinheiro a este senhor, era interessante. E digam que são de Portugal. Continuando. Vamos ver só mais 2 vídeos e depois vou acabar este vídeo. Não era? Não era? Aqui estava. Mas tenho que concordar que o nosso era bastante mais sóbrio do que aquela paneleia americana.
Shakes are full of acid or some other illicit substance. Maybe someone even had a lactose allergy. That it was going to get serious and that the violence was going to escalate. Even though milkshaking is already assault and battery, they would only step it up a notch. Because the people doing this are evil. Here we can see. Police have received information that some of the milkshakes thrown today during the demonstration contained quick dry cement. We are encouraging anyone hit with the substance today to report it to police. Now before we begin and kind of go through this and break it down, creators like me are being demonetized every single day. Be sure to check out the description to see the links to my Patreon, Subscribe Star, and donation page. You can also check out my affiliate links. Okay, so we're going to take a look here at this and see what people have to say. John says, as you well know, your first duty is to serve the people you have sworn to protect, even if a standing order exists by the mayor or governor to stand down. If Antifa attacks your citizens, you must restore law and order. You are truly the last blue line between order or chaos. Now, what I believe this is referring to is leftist mayors and governors who belong to the Democrats telling the police not to protect people, to let Antifa terrorize everyone and commit violent and dangerous acts. It is truly despicable villainy. Here, Carrie says, you need to be sued. You saw this happening and did nothing at Mr. Andy NGO, and he is a journalist who was attacked by these same people. So Andy NGO is an editor at Quillette, hated by Antifa. He's a journalist. Here you can see some pictures of him from the ER. He was milkshaked, he was attacked, and he was beaten. We have some footage of the attack.
Fucking own, bitch!
Truly despicable. He was just a journalist filming the event, filming what was going on, and they attacked him. You saw them throw all those milkshakes. You saw them physically harm this man. These people were sick. Disgusting, subhuman vermin from the left. I no longer see them as human. They are monsters hiding in human skin. They are despicable, cultural Marxists who can't even understand how they've been brainwashed and how...
Perderam o direito de ser humano voluntariamente quando fazem este tipo de merdas. Eu já disse há muito tempo.
disgusting they really are. I'm no longer going to apologize for them. They are animals, terrorists, monsters, criminals, and they deserve to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Now, if only the government would do something. Here, Andy NGO says, on the way to the hospital, was beat on the face and head multiple times in downtown, in the middle of the street with fists and weapons, suspects at large. Attacked by Antifa, bleeding. They stole my camera equipment. No police until after. Waiting for ambulance. If you have evidence of attack, please help. So as you can see, his pleas for help were ignored. He was attacked without shame.
I just got beat up by the crowd. No police at all. In the middle of the street, and they stole my GoPro. And he punched me several times in my face, in my head. I'm bleeding.
Vai mudar mais. Vou doar mais 5 euros. Okay.
Where the hell were all of you?
Can you talk to me?
Yeah, where the hell were you?
You know your name?
My name's Andy Ngo.
You know where you're at?
I had been assaulted twice earlier today and reported it to your colleagues.
Hey,
and nothing was done.
Andy, I'd like to
And
help
I was
you
in the
right
middle of the street in the front documenting this.
I'd like to help.
As you can see, the police do not care. They don't help their own citizens. They side with Antifa, the terrorists. GOG, I wonder. They should be sued. They should be shamed. That entire Portland's a shithole. I'm just gonna say it. Portland, you are a piece of garbage place to live. Right-wingers aren't allowed to exist, right? You're just gonna beat us? You're just gonna make us bleed? You think we're just gonna take it? You really think the party of soy boys, the homeless losers, those who live with their parents who don't have real jobs, that's why they have time to go out and be activists, the wimpy socialists who think that, oh, they're so strong, they're gonna throw a revolution, but you're anti-gun, right? So, you're this part of the side that doesn't have weapons and doesn't believe in going to the gym or having high testosterone, and you honestly think you're gonna win a fight with people you claim are super strong, super tough, and have all the guns. I don't understand your logic here. It's disgusting. I'm not gonna be apologetic. It won't end well. It will not. And it really seems like the inevitable result is civil war. What else is there? A civil war which the right wing will win. Period. They will win. The left will be crushed like cockroaches. That is the ultimate result of any civil war that breaks out. It's undeniable. Madame R says, do something and arrest these mother effers. Unmask the freaks. Ordinances should not allow masked public gatherings where violence is known to occur by masked people. Michael Guy says, let me get this straight. There is a Portland Police Department where? What kind of PD supports what we saw today? Sad. A one subverted by leftists. This is what they want, folks. Carmine Sabia says, why? The mayor has you handcuffed and the terrorists and running the city. Tony Bruno says, I back the blue. But you guys aren't allowed to do your jobs because the mayor is a criminal who needs to be arrested. Bet Dixon says, so the police will do nothing again. Do your job. Charles Sigaral says, maybe if you didn't let these thugs roam the street in masks, the situation could be avoided altogether. Now, there's another thing I really want to point out here. The more that Antifa antagonizes right-wingers and conservatives, and even liberals, the more they attack, the more the majority will turn against them as a threat. Because they're attacking everyone. And slowly but surely, this vocal minority of aggressive thugs is going to find themselves surrounded by the masses. And what do you think's going to happen? But they won't learn their lesson. They're not going to stop. So my advice, my friends, is to go out with body armor. I'm not even kidding. Wear armor. Wear protection. Be prepared. Wear a helmet. Though, to be honest, if you really want to be safe, pretend to be Antifa. Pretend to be them. Pretend to be the enemy. Shout crazy left-wing stuff. You'll fit right in. They'll think that, oh, you're here to cheer them on and document their great victory. But really, you're just gathering all the evidence of all of their crimes. Phil says if this is true, then this is a premeditated hate crime. Arrest and charge them that way. Kovafi Kimi says, it's all your fault for just watching all this happen and refusing to intervene. Disgusting, police chief and mayor. Disgusting. I absolutely agree. This fills me with disgust from the bottom of my heart. Milkshaking has gone too far. The police are useless. Leftist politicians are fucking useless. So here we have Beverly for Congress. This is absolute abuse of a journalist. It seems as if the mayor is allowing domestic terrorists to run your city. This is unacceptable. And here you have a left-winger. That's not a journalist. That's a propagandist. Telling the truth is propaganda, guys. Anyone who doesn't get that fact is a mark for his grift. I am not surprised the victim of his grift got angry enough to hurt him. I wonder if your employer, Matt Etheridge, would be happy to hear what you're saying, supporting violence of people you disagree with, a journalist no less. I really wonder how they would feel, Matt Etheridge. It would be a real shame if someone contacted them to let them know of the things you post on public media. It's really not a good look. Now, I would never personally do something like that, nor do I advocate anyone do something like that. But I am posing the question, what do you think they would think to see you being such an asshole? So now they're trying to imply that the Portland police are evil people colluding with right-wingers. Right, because obviously they probably messaged the police prior to trying to set up their protest, their event. But you know what? If you're right-wing in this country, you're not allowed to exist. You're not allowed to have a voice. And last time I checked, that violates the First Amendment to silence people. The far left is insane. They're devils. They're enemies. They're monsters. I really can't stress that enough. They're bad, bad people. It's terrible, the things they justify. Shanto says, Sir, I have it on good authority that the cement was intended to turn victims into European classical marble busts. An obvious joke there, but a nice little break. Pet Stare Not Disposable says, too bad you allowed masked terrorists to assault with no fear of prosecution. And really, that's the worst part of this. You know it's illegal, I think, in most places to wear a mask because then you can't be identified. So why do they let them? If you were a competent police, if you had a competent mayor, you would round up every single person in a mask, make them take it off, or arrest them. That would be the responsible thing to do. But no, you're complicit. You're complicit with the left-wing authoritarians who just don't care. So Joel says, at Gay Wonk, condones and encourages this kind of behavior. Yes, he's on record as saying, milkshake them all, and milkshaking can only lead to violence. Escalating. Now with concrete and milkshakes. What's next? Battery acid? Nuclear waste? King Acme says he literally called for this. If @Twitter support does not remove him immediately and local law enforcement not arrest and charge him, I cannot take either seriously anymore. But wait, there's more. Here's their crowdfunding page to pay for it all on GoFundMe. Go figure. You know, every single day, the left makes me think they're just less and less human. Without fail, they manage to top all of their deeds. All that's left now is for them to kill someone. It's gonna happen. They're going to kill someone because nobody is stopping them. The left wing's not stopping them. The right wing isn't defending themselves properly. Civil war, my friends. It may be inevitable. I don't know anymore. Dr. Shadow says, how quickly it's milkshakes one day and bricks and bike locks the next. Someone is going to get shot at one of these protests. Cough. Riots. Cough. Exactly as I've predicted. Someone is going to die, and that's going to set off a chain reaction that I'm not sure the left is ready for. Now, it goes without saying that none of what we've said, none of the things we said were wrong. The right-wingers, the alternative people, the libertarians like myself, we were right all along. It's all coming to pass exactly as foretold, as if by prophecy. It's all coming to pass. These losers, these monsters, these worthless, pathetic human beings, these soy-guzzling soy boys, dance and celebrate now. Go on, enjoy your small victory, if you can call it that. Because what I've noticed the most about left-wing ideology is that it's inherently self-destructive. By the time the ceiling comes crashing down on their heads, they won't even know what hit them. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. Truly, truly disturbing stuff. Milkshaking has clearly gone too far. In fact, it was too far when it started. What do you think about this? Do you think there's going to be any repercussions? Do you think Who's at fault? Is it the Portland police? Is it the mayor? Is it the governor? Is it the left-wingers? I want to know what you think. Now, once again, I would like to tell you, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. There are different tiers. You can choose whatever you wish, and no matter what you choose, you'll get access to Fight Club, a private Discord server, which is a lot of fun. There's also a PayPal option. Lastly, you can always share the video. Doing so helps us out because, as you know, in this age of censorship, we're just not being recommended. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop!
Sim, perdi 14 euros ao dar a estas pessoas, mas ao dar aqui ao Indeed, mas acho que foi o correto a fazer. E pronto, era tudo por hoje. Começou por mostrar porque é que fazia reuploads, depois falámos um bocadinho de Louça e da questão do muro entre o México e a América e do Louça, Francisco Louça, como ele só diz coisas estúpidas, e depois falámos um bocadinho do mês de junho e da LGBTQ e da paneleirice do LGBTQ, e agora falámos outra vez um bocado de Indigo. Tchau!